Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I went from this with my hair grown out. You can see that line of demarcation where my highlights meet my natural color to this. And it's going to make that line a lot softer. It's going to allow you to grow your hair out in between appointments. Or if you do need to do a shadow root for whatever reason, we're gonna go over my formula in the video. We're gonna go over my tips, tricks, and all of the techniques, as well as the products that I use. If that's you, keep watching, and you can even join my new memberships. That goes in further detail. You're gonna be able to do one-on-one chat rooms, and you'll also have first priority access to these new videos. Other than that, we're gonna get started. Okay, so before we get started, I wanted to show you guys why you would want to do a shadow root. So if you're like me, you just haven't had the time to do your hair and you want these appointments to stretch out further, you either want to change your hair color, or if you have gray hair, you can actually do this to soften the grow out line. Basically the line of demarcation, that's the line that we're seeing here where my blonde starts and then my natural color has grown out. So those are the reasons why you would want to do a shadow root. Now you are gonna need some things to be able to do this. So you're gonna need a color brush. I will link everything that I'm using in the description below. You're gonna need a little measuring cup. You can use a big measuring cup, but if you use a big one, it's probably gonna waste some product. You're gonna need gloves for sure, and you're also gonna need a mixing bowl. This is just a glass mixing bowl. It doesn't have to be too fancy. Now the major thing that you're gonna need is a brush to be able to comb this. You can either use a detangler brush, or I do have a special comb that's made to roll color down. So I will link this in the description below. I may or may not use either or, so we'll see whichever I feel like works better today. So before I get started, there's two major rules to this. The first rule is you never do this on dry hair unless you're experienced in this. The reason why is because when your hair is wet, A, the porosity is going to be equalized, and B, you won't get spotting. So it's a lot easier for the color to distribute throughout your hair if your hair is wet or damp before you start this. Now the other one is you will never, ever, ever use permanent color. Never use permanent color with a shadow root. There's a couple of reasons why, but the main thing is gonna be that it's gonna be really hard to change your color later on if you ever want to highlight through that color, or you just want to shift your color around. So never use permanent color. There is one exception to this, and that is if you have gray hair and you normally do permanent color. I will show you guys how you can do that later on. But those are the two main rules. Just keep that in your heads before you get started. So with that being said, I'm gonna get started by wetting down my hair. And just so you guys have it for reference, just to keep in mind, so my line of demarcation is right about here. So this is my natural hair color. So we're gonna be wetting my hair down. It's gonna be a lot easier for me to see this than you guys, but we're gonna be pushing this color past the demarcation line. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna wet my hair down and I will be right back. Okay, so I just mixed up my color, and for shade ZQ, it's more of like a gel-like consistency. So I did half 7N, half 6N. I mixed those together. So I did 1 ounce of color to 1 ounce of processing solution. So they are equal parts. And you do wanna use processing solution for this instead of developer because it's gonna create a more gel-like consistency. So it's easier to spread and easier to comb out. So it's a lot more forgiving than just regular cream color would be. Now that I have this mixed up, I'm gonna show you guys how I do my sectioning, and it's gonna be super easy because we don't actually do any sectioning. So this is more like what you would eyeball on your head. So when you're doing a shadow root, or think of it like a natural balayage type of hair color, you want the color to be higher in the front and lower in the back. Also, you want to keep in mind that that line of demarcation right here, you need to go past that line of demarcation. So when I first outline these sections, I'm going to make it look like a diagonal. So higher up here, and then it gets lower as it gets to the back of my head. So I have some color on here. I'm just going to hold the hair right there, and I'm going to start painting these sections. And I never go fully down with it first. I like to work it down and see right where I want it. So my hair is grown out pretty good at this point, and I think I want to transition to more of like a balayage hair color. So that's the reason I'm doing this today, and I just have not had time to do highlights on my hair again. So if you're like me and you just need something like in between, this is a great option because you can always highlight through it later on and it's not going to affect your hair at all. So I'm going to drag it down pretty low back here. And there is a method to the madness. There's one technique that I will show you guys. I don't always use this on actual clients, but it is great for doing it on yourself at home. Okay, so now you can see it's higher up here and then it goes lower back here. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And another thing too is try to make sure that you're doing each side equal, so one side isn't lower than the other. Sometimes I like to touch it right here, and I'll touch it on the other side to make sure that we're even. So I need to come down a little bit more right here. I'm gonna start this in the front. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go vertically, and we're gonna lay each section over each other so that when I get to this point, all this hair is over directed to the front of my head. Because when you pull it back, it's gonna create that perfect diagonal so that it's higher in the front and then lower in the back. You'll see what I mean in just a second, but we're gonna outline my hairline right here, and that's where we're gonna be starting. Try not to get the color on your ends too. That's another reason why I like doing it with wet hair, is because it's a lot more forgiving. If you accidentally like drop color somewhere where it's not supposed to be, then you can just re-wet your hair and rub it off with a towel. It's not that big of a deal. And as a bonus for you guys, I'm also gonna be doing just a couple of lowlights through my hair, just because I want everything to be seamless. That is not something that you have to do. So if you want to, you can just look at the end result. But if you do think you want to do that, it just gives it a little bit extra, just to make sure that everything is seamless. We're gonna go vertical right here. Follow your hairline, about that much hair. And when you pull this back, you just want to drape it over this section because you don't want to transfer color. You actually can even do this. Sometimes I'll take a foil and I'll stick it right here and just lay that hair over it so there's no way that any color can transfer. Okay, so we're gonna be, again, like I said, working forward, so towards our face. So now I'm painting this way. I think I just splashed in my eyeball. False alarm. But what's up? And this piece right here is a little bit big, so I'm just gonna cut that in half, just to make sure we get everything. And don't worry, we're gonna comb through this later. Let's get our next section. You can even hold the hair in your hand if you want to. Whatever's easier for you. So, again, we're gonna be painting forward, just like this. So as we work to the middle of the top and the back of our head, more and more hair is getting that root color. So it's gonna make this be longer in the back with that color at the top. I'm almost there. Remember to get by your ears too, so make sure that you're going all the way down with it. And I like to pull it taut right here and then push it forward, just like that. I'm gonna push this out of the way. And right by my ear anyway, the hair is already darker. And that's because I was only doing highlights on the top of my head here for a while. So that's why I don't actually need to do all of my head, but I will still demonstrate for you guys in case you do. And one thing I did want to mention too is if you bleached your whole entire head, or if you have hot roots, like your hair color got lighter at the root than the rest of your head, this is something you can use it for. But if your hair is all over blonde, you're gonna wanna make sure that you drop 2 levels if you bleached your whole entire head, because that hair color needs to be able to actually set in there. And it's not gonna appear at the true level if the hair is super light right there. Okay, you see that I've over directed everything to the front. So I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna push this back just like so. I'm gonna grab it. And now you can see it's a perfect diagonal from front to back. So higher in the front, lower in the back. That's exactly how you want it to be. I am gonna split this in half, just like so. And then I'm gonna take my detangler brush and we're gonna lightly comb this through. So I'm basically going just like this in a scooping method. I'm not going straight down because I don't want the color to transfer onto my ends. So lightly, I'm just scooping it, just like this. And that way we're gonna create a seamless blend so that the color looks nice and natural and not like you have any harsh lines there or like any cheetah prints or spots. So you can do this as much as you need to or you think you need to in order to get it nice and blended. But I can already see right here that it's higher in the front, lower in the back. And I don't really have a lot of hair here. So it's not like we have to do this a ton. Okay, so now you can see that's right where I need to blend it. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this section. And try not to let it fall too much so you're combing the exact same section. And this is just to soften up that root. It's not necessarily going to fully change your hair color like crazy. But it's going to be able to give you some longevity with your hair color. Sorry, I had to take an intermission there. I think I got maybe a little bit in my eyes, so try not to do that if you're doing this at home. So we're gonna finish this side now, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. I have even less hair on this side, so this one's gonna go by pretty quick. So we've already colored this section, and again, we're pushing everything forward. Especially if you're right-handed, this side's gonna be a lot easier to do too. Now, if you guys have any questions like how to choose your formula or anything like that, I am gonna be starting my memberships, and it's gonna go further in detail in a lot of this stuff. Just because if you're specifically looking for content like this, you might have other questions or you might need specific help that I need to actually answer your questions for, maybe demonstrate in a specific video. So if you guys are interested in that, having access to a hairstylist like on demand without having to go to the salon, definitely check out my memberships because there's gonna be a lot of good stuff in there. Especially when it comes to things like this, where you need help picking your formula, that would be a great tool for you. And right as I get to the back here, this point I'm gonna stop. And then we're gonna comb this section. I'm gonna split my hair in half right here, and I'm gonna put my foil back so we're not transferring color. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick check to make sure that I'm even on both sides. So I'm gonna take two pieces just like so, and I'm gonna compare them. And it looks pretty good to me. It ends about here. And normal people don't have perfect hairlines, and our hair is not perfect. I have less hair on this side than I do on this side. So there's always gonna be some type of variation anyway. So we're gonna flip to the back so I can show you guys the back of my head. Now I'm gonna throw in a couple of clips how my hair is before we started this. So I have not done the underneath of my hair in a long time. So I've only done the very top. So I don't need to do my whole entire back of my head with this. However, I will show you guys in the very top how to do that. We're gonna do it in kind of the same exact way, but the back of your head is gonna be pretty easy. Okay, so this is what the back of my head looks like. Just like I said, it's pretty dark back here, so you can really see it when it's wet, but my highlights only go to probably about right there, but I'll go a little bit past it so you guys can see how we do that. Now, you're gonna have these two sides right here, so you can see that I brought it down pretty far. So it's probably about right there, so that's as far as we need to bring it in the back of your head. So I'm gonna take my color, and I'm gonna go basically to those lines that meet up right there. Because again, we want it to be just like a bowl, just like this kind of. So like higher in the back, or I'm sorry, higher in the front, lower in the back. So this is gonna be our darkest portion because that's what looks natural on natural hair. So the back is a lot more forgiving with this. So to make it easier, again, since you're doing this on yourself, I wouldn't normally do this on a client this way, but it's gonna be easier to do it this way. So I'm gonna start at the top. And then I'm gonna go all the way around right here, pull this up, and we're just gonna go horizontal. Again, because I really don't have a ton of highlights here. If you do, just make sure that you're going past that line of demarcation. And it's pretty far down back here, so I'm not really worried about going too far down. This is about the point where I don't have any more highlights, so I'm gonna do one more right here. And I think I need a little bit right there. I missed that section. Now that I'm already holding all of this hair up, I'm gonna start combing it with my brush. Doing the exact same method as before. We're kind of scooping it instead of just taking it and going straight down with it. And you definitely wanna use like a wet brush or a detangler brush for this. A wide tooth comb works also, but more bristles that are closer together are gonna distribute this color more evenly. And you're gonna do that all throughout the back of your head if you need to do the whole back of your head. Now, I did talk about earlier for people who do have gray hair. So if you naturally do, if you do have gray hair coverage and you use permanent hair color, on my clients, what I do is I'll put the root color on first. I'll let that process. Usually it always processes about 45 minutes. So I'll wait until the 35-minute mark, and then with the last 10 minutes, I'll start brushing it through so we can go past those highlight lines a little bit, so it makes like a nice softer grow out line and it looks more like a balayage or a root shadow or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna put a couple of lowlights in my hair, just at the top because that's where I've been highlighting, so that's where I need to break it up a little bit. So if you're more solidly blonde right here, you're gonna wanna do that so it creates a nice seamless blend. If you're like, oh, I just wanna do the shadow root just to soften it a little bit and you don't wanna do the lowlights, you can go ahead and just skip this part and skip to the end result after I dry my hair. So I'm gonna show you how I do that, and we're just gonna pop a few of them in there. It only takes a couple of minutes to do, and this color processes for 25 minutes. So it's 25 minutes after you're done applying the hair color. So if you've gotten to this point and it's taken you like an hour to put the color on, I would go ahead and remix your color at this point because you want it to be nice and fresh for when we do this. So for this section here, this is primarily how I've highlighted my hair. So I'm gonna start right here. And I do want to keep it lighter in the front, so I'm not going to be doing any in the front. In this hair right here, we don't want to transfer color over. So grab a foil, stick that to the top of your head, and lay that hair over it. These are going to be pretty easy. So I'm just going to weave. I'm not going to do too much, just a little bit. You take about that much hair. A little goes a long way with this. So I'm probably only going to do about 2 on each side. And just like doing a highlight, we're gonna put the foil underneath it. And you wanna make sure you do this after you've already combed everything through. Using the same formula, I'm gonna drag this down a little bit further, still maintaining more lightness in the front and lower in the back. So you always wanna do it at a diagonal. I am not dragging this through to the ends because I do not want it to look stripy. So I'm gonna stop about here. I'm gonna take my comb. I'm gonna do one little swipe just to make sure that we've got a nice even blend. Now, a big important thing, do not fold these foils. Do not fold these foils, you just wanna stick it, just like so. You don't wanna disturb the hair too much. Remember, because color transfers. We're gonna drop our next section. It's gonna be easier for you to weave this at the top of your head. So looking in a mirror, I'm gonna go just like so. You're probably gonna have to do this slowly because your hair is wet. I'm gonna take about that much hair, always maintaining a diagonal section. And then I am going to comb this. I'm gonna repeat the same thing on the other side, but we're gonna speed up the video. And at this point, if you want to, you can also tone your hair at the exact same time. It'll be a little bit difficult to do if you're doing the lowlights, but you can tone your hair as well as long as you're using a demi-permanent color. It actually helps the blend a little bit more seamlessly too if you tone it at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna process for 25 minutes. I'm gonna regularly rinse, shampoo, condition, dry my hair, and you guys will get to see the end results. So I washed my hair with a little bit of purple shampoo just to tone the blonde so it's not so yellow. But this is the end result. So this, like I said, is mostly just to soften that demarcation line so that you can go a little bit longer in between appointments or for whatever reason that you might need to do a shadow root. So I'm gonna show you a little bit more of it. So this is this side. And then remember, I did put a little bit of Lowlights in there. So I'm gonna lift my hair up. So you can see there's a nice soft transition between the darkness and the blonde. And this is very close to my natural hair color. You just want that to be a little bit softer so that as it grows out, it's not so harsh and so stark if you have darker hair compared to your blonde highlights. If you want direct access to answer all of your questions, we have members only chat rooms, and we also have priority videos that are going to be dedicated to just memberships. So if that's something that you're interested in, it's going to be linked in the description below, as well as all the products that I used in this video and my free guide. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until then, I'll see you next time.